I don't know exactly what happened. Like my monitor just glitched out. Everything froze. So like the computer was fine. Everything was actually working fine. Like I could see on like, my view of the stream that everything was actually connecting fine and everything looked good on the stream. But on my screen, everything just fucking froze and the monitor was just glitching the fuck out. Like I had to like reset it, unplug it and everything. Took a lot longer than I thought it would though. So I had to do it a couple times. Like it was working, but like even when I restarted the computer, it would just like freeze on like one thing. I had to reset it a couple times to get rid of this problem. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Uh I have a feeling it actually might not have anything to do with the Windows update. I think it's the Nvidia update I did yesterday. But yeah, let's continue.
Okay, man. Let's
But
just
yeah,
You're
answer
let's
the
do.
just that.
questions.
I don't have a
I'm
problem with the
just not. I'm
term.
not interested in the meta. Let's just go to the question.
This ain't meta. This is alpha. Just putting you in your
No,
place. So
Do
now,
you know
what
what a meta
determines divorce?
conversation means? What
What
conversation
determines
about the
divorce?
conversation.
This
Let's
ain't
So
focus on
meta.
what
This is alpha.
alpha is.
yeah, okay,
What
whatever.
determines divorce in our paradigm
Hmm.
is if a woman commits adultery.
Or
That's
murder.
what determines. Well, I don't know if that in the Bible, and I don't know if that in real life to entertain your insane way of thinking.
What what is insane about his way of thinking? I'm so confused.
But our thought process and what Christ said rather, is that if a woman commits fornication, aka adultery, you
Hmm.
can divorce her.
Okay, but you said that you would divorce a
Right, but that's not like the only thing, right?
woman based on if she killed one of your children.
I answered your crazy question, yes, and I said yes.
There's nothing crazy about it. Here's why it's not crazy. I demonstrated to you that just by in lieu of you having people who are not a biological parent inside of the household, right? The chances of a child getting hurt or injured by this other person who's not a biological parent drastically go up. I can give you
That is true.
all of the data on this. If you'd like it, I
Say
can
that, can
link
you
it
say that one
to.
more time? I
Yes,
apologize.
if it is the case that you live in a household with non biological parents, your chances of injury drastically increase. Drastically increase. So if the state has custody of you, drastically increase. You have a stepdad, it increases. Stepmom, it increases. And in polygamous homes where there's multiple wives, the chances of a child getting hurt increase.
This is actually a pretty good argument because this is true.
By the non blooded parent, they increase. That is,
Are
in
these
fact, hang
Israelites
on,
or
hang
these?
on, hang on. That is, in fact, the case when you study polygamy. So the thing is that why it is pertinent is because your chances would increase of one of your wives hurting one of your children that's not one of her biological offspring. So it's pertinent for me to ask inside of your religion, could you leave her? You said yes. And then you said the only way for you to leave a person or divorce them, separate yourself from them, is actually through fornication. This is a P not P contradiction. It's a literal P not and not P. So you have to
Yeah.
reconcile this contradiction. How can you divorce your wife if she murders one of your children? How can you do that?
Because in the Bible, when David was dancing,
So I think essentially what he is arguing is that there's got to be some other reasons that you could get divorced.
David was dancing. He just united excuse me, he just united all 12 tribes. He dancing on a dance floor, getting busy. And as he dancing, I guess his skirt or his garment or whatever showed a little bit, and the ladies was going wild. And then his one of his wives complained about it. And he said, I'll get my glory for them, from them rather, that you did not give me. And he put her up in a tower, turned her into Rumpelstiltskin, never had kids with her, never did anything with her.
Yeah, can you answer my
Now,
question now?
this is answering your question. So the reason why I can put her away is
Uh-huh.
because of the heinous
Is that answering this question?
act in your scenario
Okay.
that she did.
Can you
In
put
real, wait, why can't I finish answering?
Okay,
In
well,
real
how long are you gonna filibuster, dude? I just want to get through the questions. The answer is yes, you can, right? You can divorce her,
yeah, I can. If
absent fornication.
in a normal environment, no. In the absurd environment,
What? Why does he keep saying absurd? Like he's just saying like in the instance of where one of these wives murders your child, can you divorce them? I'm pretty sure that's all the question is.
that you say, no.
What? Can you divorce her or not?
Sorry, I said that wrong. In the absurd environment that you created, yes.
Okay,
In the
so then
normal environment,
can you divorce her if she diddles one of them?
yes. If she
Okay,
did
so
a, when you say diddle,
molest them.
you talk
Yeah,
about
molest
another
them.
woman, right?
Yeah, a woman's molesting one of your sons. Can you divorce her for that?
Yeah, I don't
Should definitely be divorcing her after that.
understand these weird questions right here, man.
They're super
You a
pertinent.
freak. You might have been with
Yeah, this
Epstein.
is not freakish. When you open up by talking about how the Catholic priests molest children, that's
Yo, this
perfectly
is a
relevant.
crazy
Then
way
When
when
of
I
you
trying to
talk
open up
about
your
dodge.
abuse,
mind
but when I talk about
and this
abuse and
freaky stuff
polygyny,
you
that's
thinking,
not relevant. It's like, what are you
you
talking
definitely with
about?
Epstein. You
Yeah,
was with
whatever. Yeah,
Epstein.
okay, yeah, Epstein. So
Hey,
anyway,
Cap, it's relevant. Just answer
it's
the
totally.
questions, man.
Not only is it totally
Can
relevant,
why he can talk about my language? I couldn't read a word, but when I do something to him, you got to say something.
you
Cool.
can
No,
attack me.
Cap,
I
I
don't
What?
was I
care.
was totally fair,
Look, I
Cap.
don't
I've
give
been
a shit.
chilling.
I
Go
don't
ahead.
care about any of your insults. I just want the questions answered.
Yeah, he's insulting him instead of answering the question. Like he's trying to divert. It's weird.
So,
There you
so
go.
it's the case then that you can divorce outside of fornication, outside of your wife cheating with another man.
In your Epstein-minded view, I would not
What the
stay with
fuck?
anybody that's molesting a kid,
Uh huh.
that's unaliving a kid.
Yeah.
Why is he saying that? In your Epstein minded view, are we serious right now?
Nor would they be a part of our community because you cannot molest kids and be amongst us.
Yeah, but like that's so stupid. There's no way for you to notate to know that this will be the case or not the case. If you had like six wives and they all lived in a household with you, right? One of them could kill feasibly one of your other children. They could do that.
Yeah,
They could
this
just
could
have
happen.
postpartum depression and drown them. Just drown them in a tub. They get angry one day and do that. Like that shit happens. It's not a
Yeah,
joke.
it does.
I don't know why you think that this is Epstein Island conspiratorial tinfoil hat stuff. That could happen. And if it does, I just want you to say that, yes, you can leave her for that.
I said it already. Though.
Okay, then if
Yeah.
that's the case, you're in a performative contradiction because you
I'm not.
believe it's only under the idea of fornication that you can leave
Yeah.
your wife, and that's it. And yet here you say,
Because I think that's why he asked him, like, on the other half, he asked him, like, is murdering fornication? Like, would you divorce your wife if she murdered one of your kids? And I think he actually said that, yes, murder is fornication. And it's like, wait, what?
no, you can leave her for other extenuating circumstances as well. How about this? Okay. Is it the case that if you found out that your wife was robbing everybody else in your family, okay, and was also an addict, could you leave her then?
No,
No.
no,
You couldn't leave her then?
no.
No.
I wouldn't. I would fix her.
Okay. And then what if it's the case that you found out
You would fix her.
that your
Okay.
wife, before you met her, right, had a multitude of sexual partners that you were unaware of and had contracted HIV? Could you leave her then?
I would know that before I got with her.
Yeah, it didn't show up on the test, the HIV, and she hit her pass. She hit it. She hid it from you.
I get the part about the sex, but
Yeah, I mean, like, you could try to know, but there's no way to know that you'll be 100% correct. Like,
was HIV hitting?
Well,
Nigga, I'm-
you go down, you get a test. Let's just say you go down and get a test. The HIV doesn't show up on the test for whatever reason. There's some, mistake at the lab, perhaps something like this. You find out she has HIV. You found out that she had tons of sexual partners before you that she did not disclose to you, and you married her anyway. Can you leave her then?
now this is a very specific scenario.
Yeah, I wouldn't be with her no more.
Okay, yeah, so you can leave her then. So there's all kinds of and so there's all sorts of ways
Incredible.
in which you can leave your wife even if she's not cheating on you with somebody. So you're just
Fair.
lying. You're lying to us. You're lying to everybody who's listening. You lied about how it is that you're able to separate yourself from your wife. You are caught in a performative contradiction. You lied, sir. And not only that, let's point this out. Let's point this out.
White women
How could it be the case that polygyny, under this especially, under your idealism of polygyny, how's that going to help the West? How's that actually going to help the West?
When you say under my ideal, can you explain what you mean?
Yeah, whatever you think the rules are when it comes to polygyny. Like, for instance, can your wives have sex with each other?
No.
Can you have sex with them at the same time?
No.
Okay, can you ejaculate halfway in one and then the rest of the way in another?
What's the point of having two wives if you can't have sex with them both at the same time? Come on now.
That's the same. This the Epstein portion of the battle, y'all.
It's important. It's important to make these.
What the fuck? Why does he keep bringing up Epstein, bro? Why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? He asked you a question to test your logic, and now you're trying to divert.
I just said I can't have sex with them at the same time. So why would your mind say?
Could you have sex?
Could you
Because they're different questions. Could you have sex with one of them in the same bed, and another one sleeping in?
That's fornication. No.
Well, how is that fornication? You're not sleeping with her.
You can't see each other's nakedness.
Okay, so
That's a weird standard.
in your view, when it comes to
Epstein file.
yeah, when it comes to this,
Ooh, these some weird questions.
what is correct for you under polygyny is that
They're not really weird. He's just testing your logic.
you can have as many wives as you sleep with, becomes your wife, right? You have to take care of those women. Is that
as many?
what's that?
You cannot have as many.
Well, you're gonna have as many as you sleep with.
What is? So what is the limit?
Right.
What I mean by that is that's why I reference Deuteronomy 17:17 when it says, "Do not multiply wives to yourselves, that it takes your heart of what is."
Yeah, but if somebody decided to go ahead and sleep with 30 women, under your view, he's married to all 30 of those women, right?
Yes.
And he needs to take care of all of those women as though they were his wife, right?
So what?
And he needs to take care of all those women as though they are his wife, right?
A great manager would.
Okay, yes. So if this is the case, what would be
Okay, bro.
the enforcement arm here to make sure that these men take care of all the women that they have sex with? How would you enforce that in the West?
That's actually a good question. And what I want to say is all of this weird shit that he said from Epstein Island.
Oh my God, bro. He asked you questions. Can we stop doing that?
Monogamous people do all the time.
No, monogamous people don't come in one woman then come in another. They're not monogamous definitionally.
They ejaculate in one, put it in another.
No, they don't. That would be definitionally not monogamy.
Yes, they do.
Quote unquote monogamous people do this all the time. They're not actually monogamous. So you can't say that they're actually practicing monogamy when they're doing stuff like that.
No, that wouldn't be monogamy.
So
But
now,
anyway, who cares?
answer-
Answer the question, please.
So to answer your question, and here's the beautiful part about us as Israelites, the way that we teach it. America is a cesspool of fornication, monogamous or polygamous. They don't do it right. That's why he asked me these weird questions. He's asking me these weird questions because there are people like Neo, for example, the entertainer Neo.
You just answer the question, dude.
This is answer. Why you all in your feelings, man?
I just want
got
you
a
to
time limit
answer.
or
How
something?
would you enforce this?
I'm answering. We would enforce
gonna
it
answer it.
by re-educating
Okay, there we go.
our men and women the value of sex itself. The whole reason why we
Is that enforcing? That's re-education. That's not enforcing.
say
It's an
sex is
enforcement.
marriage because the world does not believe that. Andrew and I do agree that the paper means nothing as far as marriage goes, but the world does not. The world believes that as long as I don't have that paper marriage, I can have sex with whoever I want to have sex with. So when we come and teach, we actually put the value on sex by re-educating and saying, no, you don't sow your oats and sleep with every woman. You don't have sex with every man. If you have sex with that woman, you got to keep her. And then what does that do? What does that do? That forces you to find out about her past.
Yeah, what about enforcement, though? Can we get to that part? How do you enforce it?
We teach it. We don't force any. See, white people will say force because that's what y'all do. Y'all
Yes.
rape, enslave, and pillage.
It's
Well, you're gonna have to use.
no. When he says enforce, he means like, how are you gonna make sure that they actually follow that rule or do things right? Like, do you have any way of ensuring that young men aren't gonna go out and do this? How are you gonna stop them?
You should
Wait a second. You are going to have to use force necessarily because if somebody says that they're a part of your church and they want to be a part of your church, and you say no, you can't be a part of our church, you're going to enforce that, right?
No, when
You're
you
not?
say enforce, I mean to stop them. Like if you try to come into my school, I would say no. You
Yes, like if you like excommunicate someone from your church, that means they're no longer allowed there. So you literally have to use force to keep them out. If they just wanted to say, "Hey, come over anyway."
you can't.
Right. So they're going to use
If you tried
enforcement.
to but you would have to force your way.
Yes.
And we would be defending ourselves.
Yeah. So you would be using force to defend
Yeah, force is still force.
yourself, right?
right. And that
Okay. Yeah. So
but
we're
we
talking.
don't go out and force
Yeah,
people.
I get it. You're just talking
Yeah, but like, how would you enforce it? Like, that's what he's asking.
about basic force doctrine here, right? So the idea here, though,
No,
is that
y'all force. Your people force.
yeah, whatever it
Oh my fucking God, bro.
is, you're saying defense, it's still force. Defense is force.
No.
You agree?
No.
No, you
Defense
don't
is
agree. Defense is force.
Let me look that up. Defense is defend.
Bro. Why does he have to look that up? You never heard of a defensive force before? Like what?
Yes, but it's using force.
Offense is force.
No, defense
It's all force.
is also can be used as force. Yes, both are force. You could say enforce might be a different word. Maybe that's what you're looking for. Is enforce.
Yeah, he did say enforce, but enforce is still like it still implies force. Like force is a part of it for a reason.
wait.
Enforce would usually be the aggressor.
I
Right?
typed this defense force, and it says yes. The term
Yes.
defense force can refer to the national military. So I don't think they understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you're defending yourself by punching a person in the face, you're using force, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
What
So
I'm-
the
the reason
defense,
Okay, there you go.
why I'm saying
defense is also force and offense is force. They're both force in this situation that we're
I wouldn't
talking about.
necessarily put them in the same category, but I'm gonna do you
Oh my God, dude.
for a
I would
second. For
agree that
sake of argument,
intense. Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with you for that. That's
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
easy one. It's just-
Okay. So when we're talking about enforcement, right? You don't want to actually have any sort of enforcement at the governmental level, at the so you don't want your ecclesiology to be enforced at the government level, right?
No, I do actually. I
Okay,
think
you
that-
do. So you
Oh, so you do? Okay, so you agree?
actually want to use force then?
No,
don't
You
you?
would have to enforce it.
you.
No.
Well, then
You
how?
actually
I don't understand. How could
Oh my God,
the government enforce it without force?
hear what you
literally. How are you gonna enforce something without force? You enforcing without the force? You just in?
saying what I want. What I would prefer if
You just in, no force.
we lived according to God's laws. Absolutely. Am I gonna force or tell the government by force we got to do that? No.
You can't tell the government by force you're gonna do anything. First of all, I don't think that's what you meant. If you have the government tell people like, yeah, you have to do something, or this is the way we do things, the only way that you uphold that standard and people respect it is by you enforcing it. Which means if somebody violates it, you have to punish them, or they have to be some consequences. Yeah.
You
If you
show me where Christ. You show me where Christ did what he did by force.
Wait. That's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking if you would force a government. I'm asking if you would like for the government to enforce your worldview.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
No, we're
No.
not, because
No.
if they
Didn't you just say you want to... This nigga's all over the place. He barely understands the conversation he's having. I know. Like,
let me answer. If they get to enforcing, somehow blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians is going to be the one enforced while y'all free. I don't want y'all to force nothing. Y'all history of force, black people, Hispanic people suffer.
Okay. So then, in your view of your ecclesiology, you don't want that at the government top-down level promoting your ecclesiology, right? You don't want the government doing that.
Not by force, no.
Then
I
what
would
the
see that
fuck
in
is the
Bible.
difference between the system you're advocating for in the West and the one we already have, where you can already do the shit you're doing? What's the difference? It's the same
Because-
system. The system here is the liberal system of you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting somebody else. The system that you're advocating, you can do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody
No.
else. You don't
kind of.
want any enforcement of your ecclesiology at the
Not
national
the
level.
system I'm
Hang on, you literally
Yeah, if you don't want to enforce it, that's kind of what you're saying.
said this. I don't want any of my ecclesiastical authority enforced at the national level,
It's where some libertarians get tripped up.
the government level, period. You don't want that. So how is it that right this second we don't already have what you want? Right this second you can be a polygynist. Right this second we can do exactly what anybody can do exactly what you're doing. You can go fuck a chick and say, now you're my wife. And she goes, oh, I agree. And so both of you, hang on, both of you now are married according to you. You can do this. Hang on, you can do this right this second. What
This
are you
is
bringing? What
funny.
do you bring to the table here that's changing any of this? What are you bringing to the table here?
So
Yeah.
In the beginning of this diet, first I want to show how nasty he is because he brought up having sex with a chicken. That's Epstein.
Chick. No, I said a chick. Not a fucking chicken. I said you go bang a
I know you
chick.
said chicken. No problem. So
A
now,
chick. No, not.
Why did he think he said chicken? Even I didn't hear that. What the fuck? I hate this nigga.
That wouldn't even make sense in context. You can go bang a chicken and now you're married. Like that wouldn't even make
Like
sense.
like
literally.
you said to me, man, I'm sorry.
Instead of a chick, really? Okay.
Yeah, it sounded like maybe he was talking too fast.
Okay. Anyway,
I have this sped up and I still heard chick. Like I have this at like 175 speed.
so yeah, what do you bring to the table here that changes anything? It's just
Okay,
the
so in
same
this
shit.
title- well, first of all, the problems in the West have nothing to do with monogamy or polygamy. It has nothing to do with that.
Oh,
The
okay. So then it's
moral-
not good. Polygyny isn't good for the West then?
Well, when you're talking about saving the West,
Yeah, it's not going to
Right.
save the West.
well, monogamy hasn't saved the West.
Yeah, I'm
It's
asking
not-
about polygyny.
This is this debate is not about monogamy. I don't know why he just did that.
Don't change the topic. Don't change the subject.
I'm got
Yeah, he tried that. He tried.
How is polygyny going to save the West, and what is your system bringing to the table
Our
that's
version
anything
of
different than what we have right now? What?
our version of marriage
Yeah.
would absolutely save the West because there would be no more whores or whoremongers in America.
No, that's not true. You can't. You just said you wouldn't enforce your system.
You just asked how would my way of life of
No.
polygamy save
No.
the West? That's what
How,
you just asked me.
yeah, how? How could it do it without enforcement from the top down?
Okay, you got to add that part. You got to add the part.
Yeah, it couldn't do it.
What do you mean? That's kind of implied. Like,
It couldn't do it
But I'm
without
not
enforcement.
wait. So let me ask you a question, right?
No, answer my question first. How?
Okay.
How is it that absent enforcement, you're bringing any fucking thing to the table for anything to do with the West? And literally
That's
everybody can
true.
do exactly what you're doing right now. They just have sex with a chick, and then they're married as long as the chick agrees to it. What is it that you are bringing that's change?
I want to ask you a question after I answer
Oh
that.
my
Fair
God,
enough?
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So now what I bring to the table is actual value to sex. The problem with America is they don't value sex. So I would go to the American government and say, why is OnlyFans allowed? Why
That's
is
force.
prostitutes
That's
allowed?
force. That's force,
Wow.
bro.
I would
That's
ask them that.
force. That's force.
So now I have a question for
No,
you.
no, 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 no. That's force. Do you concede that that's force? You going to the government and saying you can't, you need to make sure OnlyFans isn't allowed is you advocating for force of your worldview? Yes?
Yes, I agree.
Okay,
That's
then
what I
you
agree.
then you lied to
Okay,
me
there you
again
go.
when you said,
didn't.
"No, I don't want the government to enforce my worldview." You do. You do, don't
No, I
you?
don't. I
Then how are
disagree.
they going to get rid of OnlyFans without force, bro? How?
Yeah.
I just agreed with you. So
Yeah,
I can
how are they
ask,
going to get rid of OnlyFans without force, bro? How?
you just tell only if you just make it illegal. Oh, you
Oh,
can't
and
do
so
it.
Yeah, and when you make it illegal, how are you going to enforce that?
Make it
what
illegal
happens?
because
What happens
America,
if people? And what happens if people do something that's illegal?
you go to jail.
Oh, so then force. Got it. So
That's,
you're saying that you want to use the force of
I'm
the
not saying I
state?
want to do that.
Yeah. Yes, you
Bro, this nigga's talking out both sides of his neck. What is going on? What's going on?
just said it,
Never
bro.
said I want to do that.
You just said it twice.
You asked the question and said,
Sorry,
how would my
bro.
world?
Bro, he did basically just say that shit twice. Like, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what he's doing here. I don't know what like he think he being slick or whatever, but like this is making him look real stupid.
No,
It's the end of the debate. That's it.
no, it's not.
Yes, it
No, it's
is.
not.
You just
No,
did it
it's
to yourself. You
That is basically the end of the debate. That is basically it.
did it to
No, it's
yourself.
not.
You want to use
You
force
ask-
of the government to
I
enforce
don't
your
wanna do
worldview.
force.
That's
No,
what
I
you just
don't.
said.
I don't even
Then-
want to talk to the government.
Okay, then tell me, how is it that the government's going to get rid of OnlyFans again?
All you done in your so-called
Now, technically, the debate isn't over, but he has caught him in like kind of multiple contradictions, like the whole like having sex with every woman is your wife, and how could you actually fornicate if you have every woman you have sex with is your wife? And it's like that already doesn't make any sense. Um, but now they're getting back to like whether or not it's good for the West, and then he wouldn't even really like enforce it. So it's like if you're not willing to like enforce it, can you really say it's good for the West? Like they technically haven't finished some debating whether their evidence for whether it's good or not leans one way, but the person that's technically supposed to be advocating for polygyny being good for the West and not being a sin doesn't seem to even want to enforce it as being like a good thing. Now, maybe you could argue maybe he just doesn't want to enforce people like you have the choice of being monogamous or polygamous, but he's also just he seems to be having a hard time like having a firm position on this, which is weird. Like it should be clear like what he believes and what he thinks the government should do. I don't know if the way Andrew's asking his questions is confusing him, but he's getting a little stumbled here.
interrogation of me is
Uh-huh.
ask the weirdest Epstein Island questions ever. And then you
I
want me
didn't ask you anything about Epstein Island once. You just lied
then you
again.
want me to
You just lied
say
again.
I would
Yeah, like he keep doing that weird Epstein Island thing just because he was asking questions like that. That's getting on my nerves.
force the government after I said I wouldn't go to the government. So when you're
You just contradicted.
It's fine if you wouldn't go for the government, but you did kind of say you would want it to be enforced by the government, so it's just kind of weird. Honestly, so Andrew's question about enforcement technically doesn't make sense because, like, he could think that polygyny is good, but that doesn't mean that he wants the state to enforce polygyny. Now, maybe he wants the state to incentivize it, whatever, but like enforcing, or he's talking about enforcing laws on like stuff like OnlyFans or whatever. I think this is all beside the point. This is beside the point.
Yourself again. You said you would.
hypothetical question. I answered it. So I do have a
No,
question.
you didn't actually answer it. And so the thing is like, here's the thing
I
that's so
wouldn't go to
interesting.
the government.
You said you again, performative contradiction. Do you want to use force to oppose your worldview using the government? No. I want the government to get rid of OnlyFans. That would be an imposition of your worldview using force. And how did I demonstrate
Yeah.
that? Hang on. How did I demonstrate that? Hang on. How did I demonstrate
Because if you want the government to ban OnlyFans, then they would have to use force. Like they'd have to enforce the law.
that? I proved it by saying, how is it that they could get rid of OnlyFans without force? You said making it illegal. What happens to people who do illegal things? They go to jail. That's force. That's the entailment of the position. You lost, sir. That's the end of that. Your imposition of your worldview that you don't want to impose due to force is actually you wanting to impose your worldview by force. Do you realize you contradicted yourself?
Okay, I just want to respond and then I want to ask you a question.
The debate over that point is pretty much over. But again, this is basically beside the point. Like we still haven't decided whether it's good or not for the West. Andrew made a pretty good argument referring to the fact that children are more likely to be abused with people that they aren't related to being in the house. So if you have multiple wives and you're living in the same house, your child is more likely to be attacked or something or abused. That follows. So that might be one way that it's not beneficial and not good for the West. As for the sin part, I don't think they agree on whether it's a sin or not, but they haven't really touched on it too much in a while. So yeah, like I mean, technically they're still not done with the debate yet. I wonder how much longer this is gonna go. We got like 2 hours into the debate, and I think we were about 2 hours into our stream before we had those technical issues. I'm not sure. We'll see how much longer this is here till they get to closing statements.
Okay.
My initial answer said, I do not want to force the government to do anything. And then I said, I prefer that the government lives according to God's laws, but I wouldn't force them. And then, same way you asked a hypothetical question about one of my wives
You're
unaliving
to finish
a
the debate
child.
right now. I promise. Go ahead.
I'm interrupting.
No, I just want to show you. You're gonna finish the debate right now. Go ahead. I'll show you.
Same way you asked a hypothetical question that never will happen about my wife. You asked another hypothetical question that never will happen.
The government can't get rid of OnlyFans.
Yes. So now my question to
Well,
you.
wait, hang on. So then I'll follow up this last one then. Last one.
This
So
is a
then, what is it if you're unwilling to use force for your worldview and approach the government for any top-down policies whatsoever? What is it that you're bringing to the table that we don't already have in this degenerate-ass fucking West? What is it that you're bringing to the table since everybody can already do what you do? They already can. Is it just your position that you're just going to go educate the masses? You're just going to educate them into everyone they fuck? They then become married to them? Or did you have some teeth behind that? Did you have something you were going to legislate or move towards? Did you have something like that? Or is it just you're just going to go out and word salad them to death?
I'm actually.
I understand his argument, but I'm not sure it means that it's bad for the West. He is arguing correctly here. If you're arguing that it's good, the burden of proof is on you. So you do have to like show us something that this could bring to the table that would improve society, or that would be a net benefit that doesn't already like exist to the same degree with like monogamy or whatever, right? Like what are you bringing to the table that we don't already have that could actually help the situation? And I don't think he's actually provided us with anything inherent to polygyny that makes it good for the West, as opposed to what we already have now. Even if it's the truth that it is good, he hasn't really provided us a solid argument that it is. And I'm not sure he's even provided us a solid argument that it's not a sin.
Really great at what I do, and polygamous and
But he's at least shown us some examples in the Bible of people doing it. And as far as I'm aware, there are some people that were maybe even commanded to do it. But even if that was the case, it seems that Andrew's response to that argument would be, just because they did it doesn't mean that's like the ideal or what God like originally intended or whatever. But I don't know. It's could go either way on that. Neither of them are like the most convincing arguments.
monogamous people do anything they want right now.
That's right.
I would never.
And the West is still degenerate.
I still got to get interrupted. Who's the child?
The West is still degenerate, bro.
We'll play the game of talking over each other.
Go ahead. I won't interrupt you. I'll let you finish. Go ahead.
Y'all got it.
But go ahead.
Andrew yielded. Go ahead.
So now, I will never force the government to obey God, because the government will never obey God. So your hypothetical question was answered, but it wasn't my answer. It's your hypothetical question. What I do is exactly what you said. It's what Christ did. Christ didn't force no government to follow him. He taught, and he was good at it. That's why the disciples did it. So I do the same exact thing. I teach to my people the value of sex. No force. And you know what? I'm good at it. So I don't have to force nobody. So now I have a question for you.
So now, hang on. Just let you go. I'm just going to respond. You can ask your question. So
I'm not mad at that.
Very simple, right? I asked you this question. What are you doing any different than what's already being practiced in the West? And you know what you just told me? Nothing. You are not offering anybody.
He did basically say nothing. He just be teaching
anything new. The same shit. You're promising them that the government's going to continue to fuck them over, going to continue to enforce degeneracy, it's going to continue to do all these horrible things under your system because you ain't got the balls to use force. You ain't got the balls to make any legislative changes. Nothing. You're just going to.
Again, I'm not sure that really matters in terms of whether or not it's good for the West or could save the West. Like, you don't have to enforce something with government for it to be true that it is good for society.
Going to speak them to death. The reason that just lost you the debate is because when you say polygyny in the West is what's going to save the West, we already have mass polygyny in the West. We already have the same shit. We have people banging everybody all over the fucking place. We already have that. It's not saving shit, right? And you are not offering anybody anything new.
Wait, hold on. We talking about... Hold on. I might be getting it confused here. Hold on. Polygyny versus polygamy. So the real difference here seems to be that polygyny is having multiple wives, and polygamy is having multiple spouses. So like your spouse isn't always your wife. Doesn't I guess you don't have to be married to a spouse. A concubine could be a spouse, right? So technically, I guess Andrew's right. We do kind of have mass polygyny here. Not really though. I wouldn't say mass polygyny. That's kind of weird. Hmm. I get what he's saying though.
You're literally offering the status quo. You're offering them the status quo. You get exactly the same shit you've always gotten under your worldview. And that's why you, sir, and polygyny is not going to save the West. And neither are Hebrew Israelites. You got nothing to offer. Nothing.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask my
Damn,
question.
he
after
said
this.
y'all ain't got shit to
The
offer.
bullshit that he's saying about polygamy. Polygamy is something that is always kind of existed, but it's low key. But monogamy
Okay, so now we're saying polygamy. Can we be precise with the terms here? What is going on?
in America has existed forever. So the downfall of the West
Yeah, we have complete depravity.
is not polygamy. The downfall of the West is monogamy, the
Like
prostitution, and all the
we just got hoes all over the place. And it's like they're not nobody's spouse, they're not nobody's wife, they just hoes. You got all types of weird ass relationships, polyamory, yada yada, blah blah. But it's not really that rampant. It's actually a smaller amount of the population doing that. But a lot of people are just being hoes, to be fair.
bullshit that y'all do. Y'all, when you say polygamy won't save the West, show me how. This is a hypothetical.
I will show you how.
This is not a question.
Yeah.
Monogamy never did anything because America didn't rule the West by monogamy.
Yes, it did.
America ruled the West by force because America still rules the West. Last I checked, America is still the #1 superpower unless you ask
Why did he say yes it did?
Israel.
The West is dying. The West is dying. The West can't even.
I didn't interrupt you the whole time you fucking talked.
Okay. Well, you said that. Okay, fine. But I get a response after this. Then I get a response after this.
Yeah, you get a response. Go ahead, Cap. It's yours. Go ahead.
I always got to cuss before I get my moderator Cooley to step in. So again, America is still a #1 fucking power, even though morally they're fucked up. So you can't blame that on polygamy because when monogamy existed, they was raping their wives. That's why it was unlawful. Excuse me, raping their wives. That's why it only became in law in 1993. That's why when you go to post or pre-industrialism, you know why they
I don't know why he keep bringing this up. I don't think this is an argument against monogamy.
was having more kids because they was raping the wives, having sex with them, producing the kids, got the woman in the house, and
I don't think that's true.
then they let that white broad out, and that white broad said, "I ain't never coming. I ain't never coming back. I ain't having no more of your kids. I ain't doing none of that." So we can't act like monogamy or polygamy makes the West good or bad because the West is still great.
Yes.
My question.
No. I get a response.
No,
I get a
No,
response.
He gets a response.
I get a response.
Yeah, he be making some crazy argument.
That's not fair.
No, you just
literally
agreed. Yeah, I get a
agreed to that.
response. I get a response. I get a response. Yeah, so here's the response.
No.
It's really simple, right? Yeah, I get a yeah, we'll get to your question after my
Real
response.
quick, both of y'all. Real quick. I'm just mute both of y'all real quick. Listen, Cap, we literally just walked it through, like one A to Z. A to Z walked it through. You gave your little rebuttal, and now Andrew gets a response. This is why Andrew yielded. You get what I'm saying? So just let him get his response, and then you can ask a question. I don't think Andrew Wilson is asking a question. He's just going to respond to all the things that you said. So go ahead.
Wait, before Andrew goes. This back and forth while I've been trying to ask this one question has gone on 4 times now.
That's because you won't stop responding.
Every time he responds,
I ain't gonna lie, I just want to skip forward to the closing arguments at this point.
then I respond and I say I want to ask a question afterwards. He says he got to respond. Can I ask the? Wait, listen,
No, that's not what happened. You're lying about the course of events.
Real
Yeah, I
quick,
said
I
I'll
got y'all.
respond. I said I'll respond, and
I got you real quick, Andrew. Listen, this is real simple, Cap. Once Andrew responds, instead of you responding to Andrew, ask your question. Just ask the question, and you'll be good. So is Andrew time to respond? After Andrew is finished, ask your question, Cap.
So before he goes, if the criteria is I can't respond to what he says, I just have to ask my question. That has to be the same across the board. He can't respond to nothing I say. He got to ask his question. Go ahead, then.
yeah, I don't have a question. So yeah, this is everything you just said was a lie. When he's talking about coverture laws,
He said that was all a lie, nigga. Said you a lying ass nigga.
with by the way, major feminist talking point, major black eye of the Hebrew Israelites on this one. Okay, you did go to jail for battering and abusing your wife. In fact, you weren't even.
Damn, he said this a black eye for your whole church, your whole peoples.
allowed to step out. You weren't allowed to leave your wife. You weren't even allowed to do that because the state would enforce. The state would come in and be like, nah, man, look up coverture laws. Any of you watching this, you can look them up for yourself, right? Men had an obligation. Women couldn't even go into debt. And by the way, just a few short years ago, we're talking only 60, 70 years ago, you're looking at, as far as monogamy goes, most men were marrying virgin women. They were marrying virgins on their wedding night. No, not kidding, right? The monogamy, as I showed you all of the various data, right, is the most stable thing you can do for the American family. We've strayed away from that, and that's what's caused tons and tons of the problems with degeneracy. In fact, this guy's worldview is so degenerate, right? He's just saying, hey, if you bang a chick, you're married to her. Great. Well, how do you enforce that? We don't. We
To
just
be
get a call back.
fair,
Hey, did you know you're married? No, I'm not. The woman says, no, I'm not. That's the end of that. There's
I think we strayed away from marriage in general, not necessarily just monogamy.
no enforcement mechanism whatsoever. He doesn't want the state to do anything. He doesn't want any movement in society towards anything new. How are you going to save the West when you just want the status quo? It's the same West. He wants the same West tomorrow that we have today, where everybody can do whatever they want, right? And you can, and in their mind, they'll just say, hey, we're married as long as we have sex with a chick. We're married to him. You have sex with a chick. You're married to her. Those people say, no, we're not. You're out of your fucking mind. Go about their business.
Yeah, yeah, we strayed away from the entire traditional idea of male and female identity and gender roles and whatnot.
And that's business as usual. There's no enforcement of any of this. No legislative. They have no legislative plan for anything. They have no plan for anything. It's just more of the same shit. He's literally offering you more of the same. And when I ask him, how's that going to save the West? He doesn't know. He has no idea. He gave you nothing. He just said monogamy somehow was the better status quo than most men marrying virgins on their wedding night just 60, 70, 80 years ago. Like how's this even rational? None of this is even rational. And so no, clearly monogamy is not going to save the West. They got no plan at all for anything. Nothing. It's just status quo.
I still don't think this is a very good argument for whether or not it's good for the West. Now, if he's making an argument that monogamy is better, sure. He made a couple arguments towards that. I don't think you could really refute that things were better when we had more of a traditional structure in marriage. But
Why? Y'all can hear me, right?
just because he can't make an argument as to why the government should enforce it, I don't think that means that it's bad or that it's not good. So I don't like that part of the argument.
Yep.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're
Why
good.
do white people enjoy to force people to do things so much?
Well, wait a second. Everybody enjoys enforcing their worldview on everybody. That includes Asians, black people, Hispanics, whites, any race that you can
Well, I'm
point
not.
to has the state as a use of force. The state always has the use
I'm
of
asking
force.
you, why do white people? Can you just answer my
Yeah,
question?
It's not
everybody
true. I
has a
reject it.
state.
I reject it as a loaded
Everybody has
question.
states.
Why? What? When you say a loaded question, you just
It presupposes the answer.
You just talked to me about force so much that I agreed to answer your hypothetical question about force.
Yeah.
You said defense was force. You said I don't have to force my view. I said I wouldn't go to the government. You create a hypothetical. If I do go to the government, wouldn't it be force? And now when I ask you, why do white people enjoy to force people to do things so much? You say I'm being dishonest, and I'm not. I want to know because
This is a
25
presuppose. Yeah, I'll
for the
answer.
past 25 to 30 minutes,
I'll answer.
you have talked to me that we got to force. Even in your soliloquy that you just did, you said I'm not going to force nobody to do anything, but you want to force. So why do white people
Yeah.
enjoy forcing people to do things?
Yeah, so I'll answer the question.
So he is kind of presupposing that white people are any different than anybody else and wanting to enforce their viewpoints. What do we mean?
And real quick, Andrew, right before you answer that, we're going to do 15 more minutes of open format discussions. And then right after the 15 minutes is up, we're going to go ahead and bring some people up to ask some questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's make this really easy. The reason that this is a loaded question is because it assumes that only why do white people, okay, why do black people enjoy murdering each other so much? I don't. You see how that's a loaded question? Not only
Yeah, this is a loaded question.
that, let's point this out. We'll make this really simple. The objective reality of the world is that all states and all systems come down to use of force. And I don't care what system you have, it's going to come down to a use of force of men. It's always the case in every system.
Yeah, that's facts. It's always backed up by force. Men with guns or swords or whatever.
You can point to in all historic standards everywhere on planet Earth at all times without exception. The world objectively runs on force and enforcement. And the truth is if you're unwilling to utilize your worldview with enforcement, your worldview is worthless because people can just ignore you, walk about, do whatever they want. And all you can do is shake your finger at them and say you shouldn't have done that. That's why. That,
But I don't see, okay, just because you yourself are unwilling to enforce your worldview doesn't mean your worldview is worthless. Because if somebody else is willing to enforce it and it works, then that argument is null and void, isn't it? So I don't think we can say the worldview is invalid just because the person isn't willing to enforce it. in order to actually make it a reality. You can say, however, that like if you're not willing to enforce it, it's never going to happen. What's the point of arguing about it? I would get that argument.
You know why? Because it works. Here's why white people like to do it so much.
There you
Because
go.
it works and
There
it's
you go.
sane. There you
There
go.
you go.
Does that answer your
Thank you.
question?
Yeah, thank you for being honest.
Yeah, because it works and it's
So
sane.
now, is that in the Bible to do it?
You said the better argument is populations with men having default access to multiple women reduces competition and conflict while promoting sustainable fertility rate. Making polygamy a norm would probably reduce war and violence. Why would I go jump someone when I got 3 coochies waiting at home? Hey, it's, 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 that's a good point. Is Cooley guy is like he's like this red pill guy. You know, he's one of those guys that I think Shay played one of his videos last week. He's like he argues with women. He's funny though. He does some other debates. I think he did a political bake a couple weeks ago or something. He's been taking like little pointers from Andrew. I can tell he's been using his argumentation style.
Do it by force.
But Cooley is cool. He's cool.
Yes, the Bible points kings. Yes, divine king.
He's actually not a bad moderator either. He's not a bad moderator.
Kings, the right of kings.
Show me where you have to enforce it by force.
Yeah, the state itself, including a monarchy.
Do you think he looked like Marquette? I mean, I don't know. A lot of them do tend to they try to dress real fancy. They like to look professional. They do kind of have a similar look about them, you know.
Necessarily entails that you have to have force for any edict of the nation or the kingdom. There always will
Now,
be a
how
force.
are you going to
Always.
They definitely dress better than Fresh and Fit.
enforce your monogamy in the West?
Ah, this is great. You know what I would do? The same thing that we used to do, which is I would take over, try to at least, win every possible election to put people with my worldview in charge so that I would legislate.
I would not be surprised if they all had the same stylist. I wouldn't be surprised.
That polygamy be outlawed. I would legislate that
They all consulting with like the ghost of Kevin Samuel or some shit.
if you were going to do divorce, that would be governed by the church and not governed by the state. I would actually have enforcement arms and teeth behind what it was that I wanted to do because, you know, I actually want to save the West. I don't want the status quo, right? You won't even petition the government to get rid of OnlyFans. That's how weak your position is. Because somehow that's going to benefit white people too much or something. That's like such a terrible position, dude.
And what are you doing to actually enforce it?
Well, so here's what you do. You start.
What are you doing?
Yeah. So what I do is I start at cooperative level. So what I start with is this: we need to move into local jurisdictions and begin the process of taking over the arms of legislation to legislate your
So
worldview.
you're doing that now?
Yes.
Can you give examples of that?
I mean, yes,
You
yes. I
you
talk,
previously
I talk
would
with
like to
people. I talk with people all over the United States. It's just a guy named Rob Nor goes to multiple Republican conventions in order to place people in seats so that
successful
they can legislate. Yes.
How successful are you?
I mean, Christian nationalism, I would say, is the most successful counterculture political apparatus which maybe has ever existed in our lifetime. So
Sure, maybe. I don't know.
I think it's pretty fucking successful.
But he's saying we out here putting in work, nigga. That's what he said.
Well, yeah, I think it's pretty successful.
So in your worldview, polygamy would be illegal, right?
Yeah.
But isn't polygamy already illegal?
Polygyny. No, it's not.
Polygyny is not illegal?
No.
Polygamy is illegal. Polygyny isn't. And even polygamy is legal in like Utah.
Only at the state level.
But you know what this? Okay, but when you say the state level, you may say, but when you have to get rid of marriage too?
From the state? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are you doing that too?
Yes.
Damn. How successful are you? What cities you got that are doing it? How
Well,
long have you been doing it?
I mean, well, right now, Christian nationalism is in its form.
To be fair, this is kind of irrelevant. The point of his argument was to say that like I'm at least willing to enforce my worldview because I know that it's good, or I believe it's good.
Of ceding power. This means that right now they're moving towards gaining control in legislative
How long have
branches
you been doing it?
for a few years.
Let's say 4 or 5.
Maybe 3.
Any headway?
Yeah, there's been headway. Yes.
Wait, well, give me the county or
I
something.
just told you, man. You can go to the Pennsylvania Republican Convention, which Rob Nor just went to. He works for me.
And it's law now in Pennsylvania that.
No, of course it's not
marriage
law.
is
I
legal?
just told you. You have to start with the
So why
ceding of
aren't you
power
forcing
first.
them? Why aren't you forcing them?
Bro, we're not talking about the utilization of forcing government, but
You
taking
told
over
me you
government to
force.
use force.
Why
We're talking
would
about
you
taking
force?
over government
So
to use force.
You're not a real white man because you're not forcing your will. But
What the fuck? How did we get here?
I got to force.
No, I think you just have a fundamental misunderstanding of how power
Why are
apparatuses
you not
work.
forcing?
Listen, what did I just tell you? Like, can you even repeat back what I just said? I don't know what this is. Pure cope laugh now.
Talk to some constituents here in Pennsylvania and this, but you ain't forcing
Bro, why is Cap trolling?
nothing. You just talking.
So
Essentially,
wait, don't you want to get people seated so that you can affect political change?
Same way that you said, I'm just talking.
No, you are just talking.
Same thing you're doing.
Who are you seeing?
I mean, he low-key is just talking. Oh my God.
Tell me you
He's kind of got a point there.
doing anything more than just talk.
I'll explain it to you. I have a methodology, and thousands like me have a methodology where we're trying to push people in positions of power who agree with our worldview for the purpose of enforcement. You're
I ain't gonna lie, I'm about to skip through this. It's like this is it's so off the point. Like I don't like when they're not actually arguing the point of the debate. They've been doing this a lot.
doing the opposite. You're claiming you don't want anybody in a position of power with your worldview.
Besides talking.
Do you understand that you're utilizing the apparatus for enforcement?
Show me where you forced anything.
It is a little easy to troll Christian.
Bro, if you have enough elected bodies, you then can utilize the force of the state.
Right? You didn't force them, right? You
Oh
talked
my
to
God,
them, right?
you're not. That's not the correct position. What you're saying here is you refuse to cede the state power.
You say all I'm
You're
doing is
refusing to go to the states.
Yeah, he's saying like you wouldn't enforce this, so like how much do you really believe this? Like he's more questioning like, do you even believe it's good for the West? But this is like on a separate thing about like, you know, banning OnlyFans and stuff like that. It's not like you didn't ask him like, would he go and make this like legal at the state level? I don't think if that is what he was asking him, he should just ask him like outright, would you make it legal? Because from what we can observe, I'm pretty sure he just said he thought it was already legal.
Using it. Do you understand the difference?
Or no, he actually thought it was illegal, or at least polygyny itself, which is different than polygamy. Again, like I feel like they're conflating terms and getting a little confused about what exactly they're talking about, because the debate says polygyny, but it seems like they're more talking about polygamy, and polygyny is different because they're not actually your wives. They don't have to be your wives, and that is legal. Like they're just spouses technically.
Bro, do you understand that do you understand that you are refusing to engage at the state level for enforcement, and we're not? That's the distinction.
You are, and you're not forcing nothing. You're going there to talk.
So
even the gays,
what purpose?
The DSM, when they want to change that DSM, they did that by force. The gays,
they didn't force anybody to do anything. How do they do it by force?
Let's try to say, Cap, can you still man his position real quick, just so we all understand?
Yeah, hold on. I might skip through. Let's see if he can still man it.
Come on, Cooley, come on.
No,
Can
I
you
mean,
still man it?
just still man it. It's not an interference. It's because we want to create some decorum, and it's the back and forth. So in order to get rid of the back and forth, if you just still man his position, I think that'll help.
Steel man, you saying steel?
Steel.
S-T-E-E or
L?
S-T-E-A?
Yeah, S-T-E-E-L.
S-T-E-E-L. Steel man. I don't know what that means.
Just summarize his position.
Yeah,
Summarize it. Yeah, repeat it.
He doesn't know what steel manning is.
I'm not attacking nothing weaker. I'm the one to ask the question.
No, that's a straw man.
The steel man means
steel man.
Persuasive technique where instead of attacking a weaker version of an opponent's argument, one can
This nigga reading the definition for the first time, trying to tell them what it means.
to the strongest possible interpretation of that argument.
Yes.
So what this man said was that all I'm doing is talking. I'm not forcing anything, as if he was.
That's not a good steel man. It sounds like a straw man.
And he's not forcing anything. He's talking just like me.
No. So
his position
that's not the most
his position of marriage, his position, and he's going to talk.
To be fair, he didn't even really say he's just talking. He said he's like working with people and like that are talking to legislators, and he's basically lobbying, which involves talking, but it's a little different.
Talk to constituents. I'm taking my position of marriage, my position of sex, and I'm going to talk to my people. We're doing the exact same thing. Neither one of us is doing it by force. But he made it seem like
Yeah, but did he say he was even lobbying for it to be made legal or whatever?
my teaching is a bad thing, but him talking is a good thing.
That was actually a straw man, not a steel man. But I'll give you the steel man, the most charitable version of your position I can possibly.
That's a good point, Anime fan. You can just do the indoctrination route, technically.
Think of. You think that Andrew Wilson's doing the exact same thing that you're doing. I'm just talking to people, right, in order to convince them of my worldview. That we're doing the exact same thing. That we're both. But here's the problem. So that's a steel man. The problem you had with my steel man is we're not, though, because when I asked you.
But they do kind of still enforce the idea of like a acceptance of them and stuff, like socially, to some degree. Like,
would you try to move your ideology to the ruling apparatus, the state apparatus? Multiple times you said no. I refuse to do that. We're not doing the same thing. The idea that I can move people into positions, or at least assist with moving people in positions, or in some way help moving people into positions of authority and power in the state in order to implement my worldview via enforcement, is the distinction between the two of us. Not whether or not we both do the things we're doing via us talking, but what the outcome of what it is we're trying to do actually is. I'm trying to present a view which people can get behind to affect real change. You are trying to affect a view of the status quo liberal elite of do as thou wilt, as long as you don't hurt anybody else, because you refuse to utilize government power for the implementation of ideology.
So here's why it's not a steel man.
But again, I just want to reiterate, this doesn't really speak to the point of whether it's good or bad, or whether it's a sin. I guess maybe they're past the sin part, but still.
Man or straw man, but they're addressing him directly. The only difference he and I have is the agenda. His agenda is at the government level. My agenda is at my people level. There is no such thing as do what thou will. That's white folks stuff. Like white people say that. That's a white man that came up that term, do what thou will. The Bible says do what God say, thus saith the Lord. So I teach my people, thus saith the Lord. So it's not a straw man or a steel man.
He's saying that you might as well believe in the do as thou wilt if you're not actually willing to enforce anything at the state level.
Because I'm pointing out that I'm not forcing anybody and he's not forcing anybody. His agenda is just different than mine. I don't care. The reason why I took this debate, the title of the debate is not just the West. The title of this debate is can polygyny save the West? Is it a sin? It being a sin means we talk about the Bible. So my lens is a biblical lens.
Yeah, so like the title says, is polygyny good for the West? But supposedly it was supposed to be, can it save the West? So it's kind of.
His lens can be the West lens, and that's fine. So even on his lens of the West, he still ain't doing nothing by force. He just talking. In my lens, I'm talking. So now the only thing we can measure success or failure is if he shows where his talking is moving weight in the West, and where I show my talking is moving weight amongst my people.
Yeah. So,
you can do.
So to give a response to this, he's right in one.
I guess he's saying that polygyny can save the West just through being taught and accepted or whatever. I don't know. Like he doesn't think that you need to enforce it for it to save the West. Whatever. Maybe that's his argument, right? A good steel man of his argument, right?
Sense that it's the ideological difference for outcome. Remember what we're debating here. Is polygyny going to save the West? Right? He says, and is it a sin? We went through all the. Did I interrupt you? We went through all of the biblical stuff there, right? We're also on the topic of can polygyny save the West? And in this particular case, he has not made any case for how it can in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I didn't interrupt you. In fact, what he has done is
he didn't really. Andrew's kind of right. He didn't really make an argument for how I can save the West. He didn't. In fact, Anna Mangafan made more of an argument for it.
He has said, we, the Hebrew Israelites, are a bunch of status quo people, right? We want the status quo. We want everything to keep going exactly how it is, because for us to petition the government to even do anything as small as regulating off the internet OnlyFans would require them to use force, and so that would be bad. That's what this gentleman said. No, we're not after the same aims. We're not after the same ends. He's a normal, progressive status quo using feminist talking points. Nonsense is what you hear here. Just nonsensical prattle. The reason that he wants to stay inside of the
What do you mean if there were no promises?
These minute questions, the minutia questions, is because the second we apply this worldview to the actual West, the whole thing falls apart. Inside his worldview, he can't even justify utilizing state force to enforce the things he believes are moral. How fucking insane is that? And so here Andrew Wilson says, no.
That's the best part of the argument. Like, it does bring into question how much he even believes it, right? If he's not even willing to enforce it to any degree.
I think that I do have a moral system called Christianity, which does enforce morality and has all sorts of ecclesiology behind it, so that we can move in government for the enforcement.
I think even without the promises, people would probably go towards it, just because people always want something to believe in, you know.
Of our will and the enforcement of the things that we want. He says, and his response to this was, well, that might benefit white people too much, it hurt minorities too much. By the way, another liberal progressive talking point, another feminist talking point. I'm really surprised. I thought the Hebrew Israelites were supposed to be these awesome savages, and it turns out they're a bunch of fucking progressive feminists, and they're too afraid to even use the state apparatus to enforce the things they consider.
I wouldn't make that argument. That's not fair. But I get what he's saying.
Moral. That's fucking crazy. He says, well, wait a second, Andrew.
I don't think most Hebrew Israelites would even agree with him. I think a lot of them would be willing to enforce things like that at the state level.
Kings allowed to do it? Yes, they were, sir. Yes, they were. Yes, divine kings definitely made edicts, and they definitely used force in order to enforce their fucking edicts. Yes, they did. And so, like, the whole worldview just fell apart. He can't save you from shit.
I didn't say the words that he said, and he lied. I said I want the government to be under God. I'm just not going to do it by force. That's what I said.
And real quick, Cap, before you finish, we just
Yeah, I mean the government can incentivize it and propagandize, whatever. And Omega fan was saying, they can go the indoctrination route. The government could indoctrinate and just not enforce, I guess, whatever. But the government's always going to involve some type of force that's like backing it. So technically, Andrew's right. Like you're still enforcing it. Like can't really get away from that.
hit the 15
If you want the
mark, so I'll let
government
you
to be involved, there's going to be force involved.
fully go ahead and finish your statement, and then we'll do closings.
I can do
So
it
you
in
have
my closing.
okay,
No,
cool. You can do it in your closing. So 4 minutes maximum.
It's not me. He closed out
All right, we are at closing statements. Thank God.
first.
Okay, so you're done with your response.
Yeah, I could put it in my 4
You
minutes.
can respond and then and then I'll do the close. You can do your last close if you want. That's fair.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, you can fully respond if you want. Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, so Andrew lied. I never said I didn't want to do anything with the government. That's just not my primary agenda because I think the West is a piece of shit. I think America has no morality, have never had any morality. And so that's my position as far as that goes. So my agenda as far as this debate was titled, Can Polygyny Save the West? Is it a sin? Polygyny can save the West, but proper education on what sex is. Even Andrew admitted that he doesn't agree with the paper marriage. He agrees with some ecclesiastical church marriage, which the Christian church as a whole doesn't even hold. They don't hold the people to the fire. They don't hold anybody. All the questions he asked me, if the woman that unalives that baby can still be a Christian. The man that's having all that sex can still be a Christian. That OnlyFans can still be a Christian. So none of that ecclesiastical
That's because they believe you can be like forgiven or whatever, though, right?
nonsense is going to work because all of that is accepted in Christianity. But if you have proper education on what sex is, polygyny and monogamy can actually exist. That's what we offer as Israelites. The feminist stuff sounds good, but it's not my fault that white men was beating the shit out of white women and then they wanted to escape y'all whooping their ass. That's not my fault. The term wife beater is because y'all was beating their ass. Black people didn't invent that term. Anybody look up white beater? It's a white man that had a wife beater shirt on for beating the shit out of his woman. And when I said that grape was lawful until 1993, he tried to flip it and say you can't beat your woman. I never said nothing about beating your woman, but you could lawfully grape your woman, and they didn't put it into legislation until
To be fair, his point there was that it was included, right? Like so they included it as like a type of assault or whatever when he responded to that.
93. So the monogamous lifestyle of America said you can grape your woman. Let that sizzle in your spirit. So I'll land right there. I'll put the rest in my 4-minute closing.
His rhetoric is good. I could say that much.
Okay,
Ready
cool.
for closings?
Yep, ready for closings. Andrew, you can start now.
Yeah, all feminist talking points, every single one of them. The idea that you could just rape your woman whenever you felt like
Those are feminist talking points. I'm not gonna lie.
it. He's using what's called a word concept fallacy. Just because you weren't prosecuted under the exact term rape or sexual assault doesn't mean
That is a word concept fallacy, technically, right? Because it was considered assault back then or whatever until they made a specific law for it.
that was legal to do. Do you realize that crimes can shift definitionally to what it is that we're talking about? When you did spousal abuse, which is what rape would have fallen under, you did go to jail. You went to jail for battery and things like this. And by the way, the things which disproportionately affect the black community when it comes to domestic violence laws all came out of these feminists claiming the same thing this lunatic is, which is that, oh, there's too much marital rape. Women need to have extra additional laws, even though that all the laws of battery and everything else already applied, right? They needed to have extra
You said indoctrination had always been the most effective way. Yeah, basically. Yeah.
protections. And now you see a domestic dispute in the black community.
Like it might take some force to do it, especially to get away with it the way you want to or whatever, right? Germany did it, right? They did the force and the indoctrination. You might have to do both, but the stronger part of it is going to be the indoctrination.
Someone's going to jail. They're going to jail every single time. Thank you, feminists. Thank you, Hebrew Israelite, with your feminist talking points, because that's what led us right here, right? You guys and your stupid ass ideology is what leads us to these things. You don't even understand what you're talking about. You don't know the history of feminism. You don't know the history of these things at all. You need to understand how coverture worked. That's one. Two, he's a contradiction machine. My opponent's a literal contradiction machine. I don't know how many contradictions I caught him in, but man, it was an overwhelming.
Damn, he said you a contradiction machine. He said you don't know how to be logically consistent.
Amount. Remember, a contradiction is just P and not P. He said, no, we can't enforce with the state. No, we can't enforce with the state. No, you can only get divorced if it's, your wife is fornicating with someone else. No, you can actually get divorced if they murder people too, or if they commit fraud or any of these other things, right? He contradicts himself constantly. This is a guy. So, and by the way, I've seen this type of tactic before when they're filibuster machines, right? So what they want to do is they want to filibuster each and every logic tree so that you move down their logic tree and you can't give a response. The second we're out of the filibuster zone, right? He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. He has carefully memorized a few Hebrew talking points, a black Hebrew talking.
You say he finna go full Yakub.
whatever, Hebrew Israelite talking points when it came to various biblical dialogues, right? But unfortunately, when he's outside of this realm of any of these memorized, roted dialogues, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. He doesn't understand how force doctrine works. He doesn't understand how enforcement works. He doesn't understand.
He's kind of right. When they're not talking about the Bible and like different interpretations of particular scriptures in the Bible, he kind of out of his league.
And he's offering the progressive mantra of more of the same. He's saying right now it's the most degenerate place we've ever been, but I refuse to use any sort of state force, get my ideology through. He contradicted himself multitudes of times on that. He went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, right? Contradiction machine. And you know what else he never demonstrated? Not one time how monogamy was going to do a damn thing to assist with the West, how it was going to do a damn thing to do anything for the West at all, right? In fact, he says, I want a system of monogamy and polygyny, right? I want polygyny and monogamy. I want both things, right? So he can't even make up his mind on what his own system is. The whole thing is a farce. These guys have no idea what they're talking about. When we get to real world
To really be fair here, right? He's saying both can exist, but he's saying that the other one would still be good. But he's right in saying that he didn't really provide us an argument as to why it's good and how it can save the West. He didn't really do that. He didn't meet the burden of proof. He didn't really provide us an argument as to why we ought start promoting polygyny or polygamy. He didn't really do that.
application of what it is they want to do. Guess what it is? Nothing. They don't want to do anything. They want the status quo, ladies and gentlemen. He wouldn't even go to have the government do anything about OnlyFans under his view. He said it. It's on record. Go look at it yourself. What
He did say that.
said is, nope, I'm not going to use government force for that, right? Okay, got it, 30 seconds. So I'm not going to use government force for it. And it's like, yeah, so how are we going to implement any of these moral laws? How are we even going to do that? Well, according to him, we're not, right? What he's going to do is continue to stay online and debate about particulars about whether or not Joseph impregnated Mary or not, even though the entirety of the church, going all the way back to the original church, says that wasn't the case, right? It's all phony baloney nonsense. And what I didn't know was that these guys were all just progressive feminists. But now we know. Now we know.
All right. He went 10 seconds over.
Now that was a closing argument.
So, Cap, I'll give you 10 seconds over as well. The floor is yours for your opening.
I appreciate it. We definitely know that Andrew likes the great women
He said opening. Did he mean closing?
and supports it and condones it. It's not a feminist talking point to say that you're against great. It's just natural. If my daughter was great by anybody, I'm a man that would actually protect and avenge my daughter from being great.
All right, but you didn't say you were against grape. You tried to use the argument that they were like beating their wives or something to support your argument, which, I mean, he's right. That is a feminist talking point. That's like one of the main things they like to bring. Oh, women used to get raped by their husband. It's because there wasn't even a law against getting raped by your husband. Even though, as far as his argument is concerned, you never actually contended with the argument. He was like, no, they were. It just was like under assault. It just was. There wasn't a specific law for raping your wife or marital rape.
It's insanity that you got to be a feminist to be against grape. But when you support his ideology and you can grape and beat women, that's what they'll believe. That's how you know that lifestyle.
This is why, like, I can't really be on his side because this is just a straw man. He didn't say any of that.
Is not conducive because what woman wants to be great? I mean, I'm not into feminism. Women.
To be fair, some of the stuff he said that he was saying he didn't say directly, but he can at least make a logical inference based on what you said that this is what you believe. You're just throwing shit out there that he did not say at all. Just because he disagreed with you, you're assuming, and it's just, again, this is what a feminist would do. I'm not gonna lie. These are feminist tactics right now. It's crazy. I hate to see Cap go out like this.
Women thinking they empower because they got these jobs and XYZ like that. You are always under me. You're always under a man. That's just how it is. Secondly, when it comes to is it a sin? He was clearly beat the hell out of. He has no idea or concept with the Bible. So the only person that could actually live in two environments in this debate was me. He could not live in the Bible. And then even in his worldview, he tried to say that I'm wrong for teaching to try to get my people to change, but then admits that his forced doctrine is the exact same thing. His forced doctrine is not to take anybody by the hand and force them to accept it, but to go to his constituents and talk to them and convince them with his mouth. No different than me. When I said polygamy and monogamy,
is he saying that's what Christians are supposed to do? I've heard that argument before, I guess.
Also said the education of what sex is. Why is that important? America has no value on sex whatsoever. That piece of paper don't make you married. He admitted that. So if the piece of paper don't make you married and his ecclesiastical doctrine does, why ain't that enforced? Why ain't, you notice, as he's saying he going to the Western governments, he didn't go to the church to say why ain't the church enforcing that? Why? Because the church supports lesbianism, homosexuality, gay marriage, child molestation. So he has no church to go to. He has nowhere to go to. So he has to go talk to a couple of his buddies. They probably sit and have a round table like, yeah, man, I'm tired of these women. We need to go back to days where we can grape them. That's about as far as it goes. So this was a good dialogue, though. Andrew is a good, debater. He lost, pretty bad.
Wait, who, the Israelites or the Christians? I think I did hear him say that before. But it kind of gives him an inferiority complex.
On both subjects. Once you can accuse me of something, but then admit that you're doing the same exact thing that you thought you was making fun of me, you actually lost because he has
Shaka would say they both got Bible psychosis.
no work behind his words. I would love for him to show it, whereas I do. So we don't sit around trying to have just debates about virgin birth and stuff like that. We actually go out into black communities and teach them the value of
The Hebrew Israelites? Okay.
family. Why we got to teach them the value of family? Because if we live under the West, we don't have no family. The white family is destroyed, and so is ours. So we have to teach them the opposite. So we educate our people
Somewhat. He's kind of right.
across the board. With that,
The nuclear family is destroyed for white and black people. It is, yeah. It's taking some heavy damage.
I land.
All right. Thank you for your closing, both of you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and read.
I do,
Sure.
I do, Cooley, and I do appreciate very quickly my debate partner here. That was a fun debate, and I'm open to doing another one with you in the future on other topics if you'd like. I have no ill will towards you at all. No matter how spirited these things get, I understand you keep this shit in the arena, and that's where it stays. So you're never going to be under any threat of my audience harassing, nothing like that. We just don't play that shit here. So I wanted to say that, and I wanted to thank you for taking time out of your day. Cooley, I do have the reason I had to reschedule this for today.
That is actually one of the things I like about Andrew. He tends to do this at the end of his debates, even if it got like pretty heated. He tries to be like, look, man, I enjoyed it. We can do it again. As a proper grifter should. Andrew knows his grift.
Instead of tomorrow, which I wanted to tell you,
The great grift master.
appreciated you taking the time to do that, is because I have a drive out to Chicago. I'm doing a large scale debate out there, so I do have to leave a little bit early tonight. I hope you guys will forgive me for that. But maybe we can catch it up another time, huh?
If I can extend the same thing, I'm the same way. Like when you're in debate mode, you're supposed to try to obliterate the other person. But when the debate is over, I ain't gonna see if I was ever see you or something like. I don't have to do all of that. So
it would just hopefully be a handshake. I could be the white devil after I leave. I could be the white devil after I leave. But anyway, I did appreciate it, and I never have any ill will for these things.
Yeah, no, definitely do
I am going to send a raid over to your channel if you're going to maybe do something a little after. I think I got pretty close to 8,000 live on my end.
Cool.
So happy to do it.
And I like that he does this. Like, he's like, big up your channel. Send the people over to your channel when we done. Like, that's dope. Like, he's a cool dude for that.
Thank you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.
Hey, thank you, Andrew. Appreciate you.
All right, no problem.
All right, Cap, you're willing to
just for a little bit.
Okay, cool.
Like,
You're willing to stay.
I'll take like 2 questions or something like that.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we can definitely do that.
I think it would be biased to stay if Andrew is gone. So maybe I'll take 2.
Okay, fair enough. Let me go ahead and switch this, put it over here. And yeah, so I just want to read this. So pretty much the super chats that I'm reading tonight, ladies and gents, is going to be
super chats. I'm not going to cover the super chats at all. But I did see, I think that like it continued playing like after the last time I ended the stream, and I wasn't paying attention. But it looked like Andrew's wife got up to like ask questions and go back and forth with him. So I kind of want to see how that looked. So we'll check that out, and then we'll wrap up here. All right, I think I found it.
Adultery or fornication.
All right, fair enough. All right, and let me go ahead and bring up Rachel Wilson since she sent in 2 chats, and she has to come up. This would be Andrew Wilson's wife, if you don't know Captain Tazaryach.
No,
I'm going to bring her up.
And you're about to get the maul on him.
Rachel Wilson, welcome to
About to get the maul on him.
the chat. Can you hear me? I think I can hear you good. Can you say something again?
And keep in mind, Andrew Wilson said she's the smarter one of them.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay, great. I'm just going to go ahead and turn off my headphones just to make sure they don't try to like reconnect because I think that's what the issue was for a second. Okay, so first, I just wanted to address the absolute lie that the wife beater thing came from white men because the CDC says that the rate of intimate partner violence is actually almost twice as high among blacks as it is among whites.
She bringing up the FBI statistics.
It's a general rate of about 5.7% of the population for whites and about 9.2% for blacks. 44% of black women compared to 35% of white women, saying that they're victims of domestic violence. So this idea that it's a white guy thing, totally false. But I do have a question for Captain Wakanda here. Do you like playing Russian roulette?
I wonder where this question is going to go.
Oh.
Are you a big fan of taking big risks?
To be fair, though, I'm pretty sure like the wife beating thing he was mentioning was like in the past. So I don't know if we can use like modern crime statistics for that. Like that's kind of an L. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's kind of an L.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious because if you want to have multiple wives, and I'm guessing you want them all to be black, since you seem to be a bit of a black supremacist, but I didn't know if you were aware that black women in America have 6 times higher the rate of herpes, 5 times higher the rate of chlamydia, 7 times higher the rate of gonorrhea, 8.5 times higher the rate of syphilis, and 10 times higher rate of HIV than white women. So if
Well,
you're
no,
gonna have multiple black wives,
Damn.
whew, those are rough odds.
what I would prefer, like listening is an art. And when I talk about the
She just throwing out the statistics is crazy.
wife beater, anybody
Yeah, she is doing more specific data than just raw stats.
can look that up. The term wife beater for white tank top originated in its association with negative stereotype of abusive men, and it was a white man in 1947 that it came from.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he's right about that. We was talking about that before, wasn't we?
that has nothing to do with your.
Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt me, please. I didn't interrupt you the whole time you talk. You call me a black supremacist because I'm not a black supremacist because I'm not just about black people. I'm about my Latino people, Native Indian people. There's a lot of people that I love. So please don't call me a
Yeah,
black
just not white people.
supremacist.
You mean
Once
white
again,
people, right?
listen, if you can't be quiet, I would just respectfully ask Cooley to remove you. I didn't interrupt you one time when you talk. I see why Andrew is your husband, because both of y'all can't shut the fuck up. Thank you. So, as I was saying, the term wife beater, which I said, originated from a white man. That was my talking point. I didn't say only white men beat women. I would never say nothing that's stupid. But stupid people would believe that I said that. And
Yeah, I don't think that's what he was saying. You know, he got it right there. He got it right there. We got to give him that. We got to give him that.
then when you talk about, once again, hey, Cooley, I'm cool. Because I don't want to talk to Andrew's wife disrespectful. So if you could just remove her, I would greatly appreciate it.
I mean, I think you guys pretty much hashed it out. I think you hashed it out.
You guys can keep interrupting me.
He said, "Get her out of here before I cuss his wife out." That's a real nigga.
Women are running from their white husbands. He made
I
a claim that
real
white
quick,
women
I got you.
woman, but I Cooley,
Cap, I got you. I was just speaking. You know, I'm trying to create some decorum right now. What I
He said, "I ain't trying to talk to this bitch." Look, what's the first rule? Don't argue with women, right?
did
I don't want
was
to talk to her.
both of you attacked one another, so I kind of let you guys hash it out. I let you guys hash it out. You know what I'm saying?
Listen.
It seems that it was hashed out. You want to continue on, or you want me to take her off?
I do
Because
not.
you're on. Okay,
Take her
cool.
off. I appreciate it.
She likes to do this from time to time, like, because she'll be watching, so she'll have like her own arguments and everything. And like I said, as far as he says, she's like the smarter one of the two. Like, she's wrote a whole book on feminism, and all that. So she knows what he's referring to, actually. She knows a lot about, like, American history in terms of, like, women's rights and like where feminism started, like in Europe and all that. Because she's wrote a whole book on it. So as far as he's concerned, she's the smarter one. So she's probably got a lot of opinions on this, and she does debates every once in a while herself. So she wanted to get her shots in.
All right, Rachel Wilson, gotta let you go, but thank you for your support. I do appreciate you.
All right, thanks, Cooley.
All
right. Well, that was very entertaining. I'm glad I skipped to go see that one. But yeah, the rest of the super chats and shit. GPT on the next tab. But yeah, all right. So I think I don't know if either of them really won this debate here. I'd say if anything, like Andrew won, like optically and like logically. Cap never really gave us an argument. Her Crowder stats. Oh yeah. Hey yo, no. I was actually going to I may or may not do an analysis of that Crowder video. I may or may not even start doing like analysis of his Change Your Minds, because he started doing those again. So look forward for more of that, because I might start covering some of those too. But yeah, this debate was very interesting. Is polygyny good for the West? Some would argue no. Some would argue yes. I think it can be. If people were to really get back to being traditional, I don't think there'd be much wrong with polygyny or polygamy, as long as everyone's doing it properly and in a traditional way. Could come with problems, but so does everything. But I don't think that Cap gave us a good enough argument for it. Therefore, kind of by default, Andrew kind of wins because he's really just got to poke holes in it. And yeah, he did that pretty well. He kind of showed that in some areas, a lot of areas, he's contradicting himself and doesn't know what he's talking about. So I think we're gonna have to get the dub to Andrew. Andrew Wilson wins this one. But you know, Cap, good attempt. Good attempt. Next debate, I think we might I think I might cover that Crowder barbershop video because I saw some of it. And there was some stuff I wanted to address. There's definitely some stuff I wanted to address. So we might do that one. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up this stream because I think I'm probably gonna be back tonight around 1 p.m. or 1 a.m. 1 a.m. Doing a little gaming. Don't know for how long, but if y'all want to see me do a little bit of gaming, not exactly sure what I'm gonna play yet. Maybe I may go back to Devil May Cry. Who knows? I'll make a post about it. We'll see. I might decide what game I'm gonna play on stream. Maybe you guys can help me pick. We can go through the library. I can show y'all what I got. But yeah, I'm probably gonna be back here, like midnight, 1 o'clock. Maybe give me a little nap in. And we'll see. So look out for me then later tonight. Look out on the Twitter page for a post. Let's see. It's make sure everybody has the Twitter link. I really don't call it X. Like like one of my niggas is saying, like, if you calling that shit X, you retarded. And I ain't gonna lie, I have to force myself to say X when I do. So he low key right. Yeah, this shit's still Twitter, bro. This shit is still Twitter, bro. Let me see here. To make sure I got the link to my fucking page. I'm dropping it in the chat here so y'all can look. I mean, I'm pretty sure y'all probably already follow me, Alchemist and Omega Fan. We'll just don't leave it here for anybody else that's like, lingering, lurking, not saying nertin. Yeah. Okay. So give us a follow for all the announcements, to know when we are going live, when we're about to go live, and let us know what videos you want us to cover. You can send me links to that Twitter account. Send me links, tag me and shit. If you want to see it analyzed, send me the YouTube link or whatever, and we can put it on the list. Thank you for joining me for this logical analysis. I'll try to get these done faster, but sometimes these things are just long as fuck. Like this one was 3 hours. So sometimes it takes a while. You got to break it up into parts. The hardest part is like remembering what was in the last video. Like I had to go through it sometimes before I like start again to be like remember where we was at and what points were being made. So that's the hardest part. But we'll get better with it as we move along. I might even start like taking notes on what's going on, but we'll see. Again, thank you for joining me, and I will see you beautiful people next time. Until then, I bid you au revoir.